Hello, and welcome back to the Personal Growth Talks podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and joining me today is my amazing co-host, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Jason. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today and talk about something that I think is so important, especially in the world we're living in.
Absolutely, Julia. Life can be full of challenges, whether it's personal struggles, professional setbacks, or just the stress of day-to-day living. During those tough times, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and let negativity take over.
That's so true, Jason. But what if I told you that even in the darkest times, there are ways to find light? Staying positive during difficult times isn't always easy, but it's definitely possible, and it can make a huge difference in how we experience and overcome challenges.
Exactly. In today's episode, we'll explore some practical and realistic ways to stay positive, even when things feel tough. We'll share tips, personal stories, and strategies that you can start using right away.
And if you're feeling stuck or wondering how to handle a difficult situation, stick with us. We've got some actionable advice that might just help you see things from a new perspective.
All right, let's dive in. First, let's talk about why staying positive is so important during difficult times and the common struggles people face when trying to stay optimistic. So, before we dive into specific strategies, let's take a moment to understand the reality of what it means to face difficult times. Julia, wouldn't you agree that challenges can feel like they completely consume us sometimes?
Absolutely, Jason. Whether it's financial struggles, relationship issues, health problems, or even something as common as feeling stuck in life, those tough moments can make it hard to see the bigger picture. It's like being in a storm. You're so focused on the thunder and rain, you forget that the sun will shine again.
Exactly. And when we're in the middle of that storm, it's easy to spiral into negativity. You might start thinking things like, why is this happening to me? Or, there's no way out of this. That kind of thinking can make things even harder to deal with.
And let's be honest, those feelings are completely normal. No one is immune to hardship or negative emotions. But here's the key. While we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond to it. And that's where staying positive comes in.
Right. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what you can control and finding small ways to build hope and resilience, even when things feel overwhelming.
And research backs this up, Jason. Studies show that people who practice positivity are not only better at managing stress, but they also recover from challenges more quickly. It's not about being unrealistic. It's about being proactive in how you handle tough situations.
That's such an important point, Julia. So now that we've set the stage, let's get into the heart of today's episode: actionable strategies to help you stay positive when times get tough.
Sounds great. Let's start with one of my favorites, practicing gratitude.
All right, let's dive into the core of today's discussion: how to stay positive during difficult times. We've got a list of strategies that are practical, actionable, and most importantly, effective. Julia, want to start us off with the first one?
Of course, Jason. Let's talk about one of my personal favorites, practicing gratitude. It's so simple, yet it can completely shift your mindset. Even on your worst days, there's always something to be thankful for, whether it's the roof over your head, the food on your table, or the people who support you.
That's a great point, Julia. And practicing gratitude doesn't have to be complicated. Just take a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a good cup of coffee or a kind word from a friend. Over time, this habit trains your mind to focus on the positives instead of the negatives.
Exactly. And speaking of habits, that brings me to the next strategy, mindfulness and meditation. When you're going through tough times, your mind can feel like it's constantly racing with worries and what-ifs. Taking a few moments to breathe deeply and focus on the present can do wonders for your mental clarity.
Right, Julia. Meditation doesn't have to mean sitting in silence for an hour. Even 5 minutes of focused breathing can help you feel more grounded. Apps like Headspace or Calm are great tools to get started.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about something many people struggle with: positive self-talk. Jason, have you ever caught yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't handle this"?
Oh, all the time, Julia. Negative self-talk is so common, especially when you're facing challenges. But here's the thing, it's just that talk. It's not the truth. Replacing those negative thoughts with positive affirmations like, I'm doing my best, or I'll get through this, can change your entire outlook.
Yes, and it might feel awkward at first, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Another great strategy is connecting with your support system. When you're going through a tough time, leaning on friends, family, or even a trusted mentor can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. Just having someone to listen can lighten the emotional load. And don't forget about professional support, like a counselor or therapist if you need it. It's a sign of strength to ask for help.
Totally agree. Another thing that's helped me personally is setting small, achievable goals. When life feels overwhelming, breaking it down into manageable steps can give you a sense of progress and control.
That's such a good one, Julia. It's like climbing a mountain. You don't focus on the peak the entire time. You focus on one step at a time. Celebrate those small wins along the way, and you'll stay motivated.
And speaking of staying motivated, this one is really important: limiting negativity. That means stepping away from toxic news, avoiding social media that makes you feel bad, or even taking a break from people who drain your energy.
Such a vital point. Sometimes just turning off the news or spending time in nature instead of scrolling through your phone can make a huge difference in how you feel.
Exactly. And remember, staying positive doesn't mean you'll never feel sad or frustrated. It's okay to have those emotions. But these strategies can help you bounce back more quickly and handle challenges with strength and resilience.
Well said, Julia. So to recap, practice gratitude, try mindfulness, focus on positive self-talk, lean on your support system, set small goals, and limit negativity. These strategies, when combined, can really help you stay positive during even the toughest times.
Absolutely. And coming up next, we'll talk about some common challenges people face when trying to stay positive and how to overcome them.
So, we've talked about some great strategies for staying positive, but let's be real. There are times when it feels almost impossible to stay optimistic. Julia, have you ever been in a situation where staying positive felt like climbing a mountain?
Oh, absolutely, Jason. I think we've all been there. Sometimes the weight of a tough situation just feels too heavy, and no matter how hard you try, negativity creeps in. It's completely normal, but it's important to recognize these moments and take small steps to overcome them.
Exactly. One of the biggest challenges people face is what I'd call the all or nothing mindset. It's when you feel like if you're not 100% positive, then you're failing. But that's not true at all.
That's such an important point, Jason. Staying positive doesn't mean you have to ignore your feelings or pretend everything is fine. It's okay to acknowledge that you're struggling. In fact, that's the first step. Accepting your emotions.
Yes, when you accept how you feel, you take away its power to control you. You can say, I feel frustrated, and that's okay, but I won't let this define my day. It's about giving yourself permission to feel without letting those feelings consume you.
Another common challenge is feeling isolated. During difficult times, it's easy to withdraw and feel like no one understands what you're going through. But reaching out, even if it's just a quick text to a friend, can remind you that you're not alone.
Absolutely, and if you don't feel ready to talk to someone close, there are online communities and support groups where you can connect with people who might be going through something similar. It's amazing how much sharing can lighten the load.
Totally agree. Another challenge is negative self-talk. Sometimes it feels like there's a little voice in your head constantly pointing out what's going wrong or what you're not doing well enough.
Oh yes, that inner critic can be relentless. One way to overcome it is to challenge those thoughts. For example, if your inner voice says, "I'm not good at this," ask yourself, is that really true? Or am I just being hard on myself? Most of the time, it's just a habit of negativity that you can break.
Exactly, Jason. And sometimes people struggle because they're stuck in a loop of focusing on what they can't control. In these cases, shifting your focus to what you can control, even if it's something small, can make a huge difference.
That's such a good point, Julia. For example, you might not be able to control a stressful situation at work, but you can control how you respond to it. You can take a walk, step away for a moment, or even just focus on doing your best in the moment.
Right. And let's not forget the challenge of losing hope. When things are tough, it can feel like the situation will never improve. In those moments, it's important to remind yourself that nothing is permanent, not even your struggles.
So true. Life is constantly changing, and even the toughest situations eventually pass. Holding on to hope, no matter how small, can keep you going when things feel darkest.
And finally, give yourself grace. No one is perfect, and staying positive is a process. Some days will be harder than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep trying and take it one step at a time.
Well said, Julia. By accepting your emotions, reaching out to others, challenging negative thoughts, focusing on what you can control, and holding on to hope, you can overcome the toughest challenges and keep moving forward.
Exactly. Coming up next, we'll share some final thoughts and an encouraging message to help you stay motivated no matter what you're facing.
So, as we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. Staying positive during difficult times isn't about denying your struggles or pretending everything is okay. It's about finding strength in small moments, practicing gratitude and focusing on what you can control. And
That's right, Jason. Remember, tough times are a part of life, but they don't define who you are. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. And even on your hardest days, you are never alone. There's always hope, and there's always support if you look for it.
exactly, Julia. If there's one takeaway from today's episode, it's this. Positivity is a choice. It's not always easy, and it doesn't come naturally in every moment, but it's a powerful tool you can use to navigate life's challenges.
And if you're listening to this and feeling overwhelmed, just take it one step at a time. Start small. Maybe write down one thing you're grateful for today, or reach out to a friend for a quick chat. Progress is progress, no matter how small.
Well said, Julia. Thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in today. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share your favorite strategy or even your personal story in the comments or on social media.
And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. We're here to support you on your journey to personal growth and positivity. Until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and remember, you've got this.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.